Police in the Indian capital Delhi have clashed with protesting farmers after tens of thousands converged on the city to express anger over agriculture reforms. The mass demonstrations turned violent after protesters broke through police barricades. Farmers fear the reforms to the agriculture industry will damage their livelihoods. It's the biggest protest yet, and it came during India's Republic Day celebrations. The BBC's India correspondent Yogita Limay reports.
A bus that was used as a roadblock being pushed aside, barricades being broken. Hundreds of thousands of farmers marched into Delhi on Tuesday from neighbouring states. A planned protest, but it deviated from the routes it was allowed on, finally reaching the Red Fort, a place of great political and historical significance in India. Police fired rounds of tear gas and in some places led a baton charge. At the heart of this protest, new agricultural laws passed by the government in September last year. Prime Minister Modi will have to take back these black laws, a farmer told BBC Hindi. Protesters fear the changes will open them to exploitation by private companies and have been demonstrating against them for months now. Not far from the chaos and anger, the order and pomp of India's Republic Day celebrations, an annual parade displaying the country's military might and cultural diversity, attended by India's top leadership. For Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the ongoing protests are the biggest challenge he's faced since he came to power in 2014. He says the new laws will reform agriculture and help farmers. But for the first time in nearly 7 years, his government has been forced to negotiate with protesters. Several rounds of talks have been held with no result. And these images show how hard it will be to find a resolution. Yogita Limay, BBC News, India.
Well, earlier I spoke to Avik Saha, who is General Secretary of the AIK-SCC, a pan-Indian umbrella group comprising some 250 farmers' organisations.
You see, patience is the shield and the sword that the farmers are using in this agitation. For some reason, the government is pushing the farmers hard to lose patience. What happened today was not part of the plan. There is a committee which manages, but there are, as I said, 500 organizations, and something went out of circuit today. It shouldn't have happened. We will have to review it. We will have to have deep and deliberate discussions. It's a very critical moment. I completely agree with that. But I think to put the blame entirely on the farmers' organizations as having committed violence and arson, and there are many other adjectives going around, is harsh and one-sided.
Well, we can see the images for ourselves, and there clearly are violent protests taking place amidst a global pandemic when it's dangerous for people to gather in these sorts of numbers. It puts pressure on the police. The Republic Day celebrations were organised to try and minimise the numbers of the streets in Delhi.
The farmers have been sitting in protest for 60 days now, exactly 60 days. More than a few 100,000 farmers are at the borders of Delhi. I was the one who wrote a letter to the police chief asking for a place to protest inside Delhi. The police refused as far back as 26th November. So what option do farmers' organizations really have at this point? We don't enjoy being at the borders of Delhi sitting on the highway. We don't want to block anything. There are...
Why do you want to go into Delhi itself? Why is that so important?
It's for the visuals. There is a place called Boat Club in Delhi which can accommodate protests of this size. We specifically asked for Boat Club, and the other one is Ram Leela Maidan. Both were refused for reasons which are bizarre. I can't understand it. So the police do not want the media to be able to capture images of the protest within Delhi, and have not been wanting for the last 60 days.
Are you going to make sure, though, that whether this violence was organised in advance or whether it just simply spiralled out of control, that is not going to happen again? Are you in a position to control people now?
500 organizations, 500 leaders, but we meet. We meet in the general body. What happened today, I repeat, was not planned, should not have happened. But now that it has happened, we must go back to the drawing board and ensure that the farmers' protests continue to remain peaceful because that's our only strength.
Avik Saha there from a pan-Indian umbrella group, the AIK-SCC, representing farmers' organisations.